These aren't the Nelwyns you're looking for. Greetings and welcome once again to Roman of the Empire. I am your host, Roman. Today, we're going to take a look back very briefly at a movie called Willow, and then a look at the present at a series called Willow. If you'll recall, back in 1988, George Lucas, coming fresh off the Star Wars high, decided he was going to dabble into fantasy. That fantasy was a film called Willow, which was directed by Ron Howard. This movie had a pretty interesting cast. So you had Warwick Davis, who was in Star Wars, of course, as Ewok, the little talking bear fellows. What the hell were they called? Ewoks. You know why I blocked that out? Because I hated the Ewoks. I did. They were the worst part of the entire Star Wars trilogy. Were those goddamn Ewoks. Anyway. Val Kilmer, he was a rising star at that point. And some other folks. It was an interesting story of good and evil. It wasn't, these are territories that Lucas likes to stick with. About a baby that is found by Willow, who is a Nelwyn. They're a little folk of the forest. By his children, little redheaded human baby. And then the village comes under attack. Willow's tasked with taking the baby to someone responsible, whatever that means. And then he learns her identity. She is Allura Dannon. She is prophesized to bring down the evil Queen Bavmarda. And these are all just the kind of the classical elements. And on his journey, Willow meets with a bit of a rogue, Mad Mardigan, who he finds in a cage, who's a sword fighter, who's very loud and, full of bravado. And he isn't sure if he can trust him, of course. A couple of brownies who, they're about yay tall, they're very small. Another sorceress whose name is Finn Razel, and she actually teaches Willow magic. And they're pursued by the Queen's daughter, Sorsha. She's the commander of the Queen's army, and General Keel, who's actually a very terrifying figure in his skull armor, and he's just a bad dude. And it's a fun but flawed movie. It wasn't, I think, the big hit that they were hoping for. It was not going to be another Star Wars, but it was still a fun movie. There was the two-headed dragon thing. There was just a lot going on there, and it was fun. No one was particularly deep, but you got the characters, and no one was just like, ugh, except for Bavmarda, who was supposed to be. Now we get to Willow the series. Now Willow the series is directed. It's got 8 episodes. It's on disneyplus, and that shows it's got several different directors, several different writers. The ghost of George Lucas is given a writing credit because he created these characters long ago. And, well, I'm going to give you just the crux to the show, and then we're going to talk about, there aren't going to be really spoilers here because I'm not going to go that deep into this. I just want to give you kind of what it is. Boy. Willow has a dream that the evil is returning. And the only one who can stop this evil is Allura Dannon, again. Now, Sorsha is queen now. She's not a lot of fun. She's marrying her daughter Kit off to, what's the young fellow's name? Graydon Hoster. It's another, he's one of the 7 or so kingdoms that Queen Sorsha rules over, but they're like a collective. So she's marrying her off to one of the other princes. And Kit, the princess, isn't really excited about this because she's more interested in her friend Jade, who is her training partner and her best friend. And this is where Disney has to introduce the same-sex love interest because that's just part of their lineup now. Just it is. Kit has a brother, Eric, who is named after Madmartigan's friend from the earlier film, Eric. He's a solid warrior. That Eric was. This Eric is small. He's a womanizer. There's nothing really imposing about him. He's what you expect out of a not interesting teenage boy, I guess. Whereas Kit is interested in sword fighting, he is interested in none of these things. Anyway, the queen has kept Allura hidden all these years. Willow came to her with his dream, and he said, we need to protect her. We need to train her. And she's like, no, we're going to hide her away. I guess, if you pretend the bad doesn't exist, the bad will never come. And she also tells Willow that he's not a great sorcerer. She's kind of a bitch to him. And then Willow he goes off in a huff. So there's a big party announcing the marriage between the princess and the young prince. They don't really like each other. He's not interested in because he's not a very interesting character. And then everybody goes to bed, and then there's an attack on the castle by these monsters. And the monsters actually look really good. And that was the best part of the show for me, were the monsters. And in this attack, they abduct young Prince Eric. Okay. Now off to the rescue will, of course, be the princess, Kit. Graydon is thrown into the mix because his father expects him to. Jade, the princess's love interest and best friend. And he was a prisoner. You see the queen talking to him, and you don't know who he is at first, and then it's revealed. His name is Borman. He was Madmartigan's squire. Now, this is important because Madmartigan is absent, at least so far in the show. He is given the role of absent dad. At least that's the way his children see it. They talk about him going away and never coming back. And what either they don't realize or just fail to realize is that the queen sent him on a quest for some magic armor, the MacGuffin, that protects its wearer from all the enemies. But he never came back. He never returned from the quest. But the squire did, and he was imprisoned by Queen Sorsha, and we don't really know why that is. And so he's the protector of the group that goes on this quest, and they're also supposed to find the sorcerer Willow. Allura Dannon is revealed, and this isn't really a spoiler because it doesn't last that long. She's one of them. She's one of the kitchen help that young Prince Eric has an attraction to. She thinks they're in love. So when Eric gets abducted and the rest of the crew go off to look for him, she, of course, goes off on her own to try to find him. And there's a magical veil that covers the kingdom, supposed to protect it. Obviously, it doesn't do that good a job because all the bad guys got in through this one gate area. But she's able to walk right through the thing. And this is when you suspect it's Allura Dan. And of course, like I said, that's revealed. Again, it's not much of a spoiler. And that's basically it. The queen who knows who she is, knows that she's now missing, and she sends her commander off to find him, Commander Ballantyne, who has an amazing voice, by the way. I'm not really familiar with this actor, but his voice is just fantastic. But he's been corrupted by evil, so he's really trying to find Allura, not for the queen, but for the master, whoever that is. And, of course, it's probably Bavmarda in some other form come back or whatever. You don't really care that much. So there's the quest element. They have to find Eric. They have to protect Allura, who Willow who says is supposed to go to some basically magical city to fulfill her prophecy and become the true empress. That's basically the show. It's real thin. It's real thin stuff. What Disney has done is what it is done for a lot of its series, and we've talked about this before. The male characters are written as bad people, buffoons, incompetents, untrustworthy. That's the way Disney likes to write their male characters. And the female characters are, of course, strong and fearless. They're better in every way than their male counterparts. They're also stronger, apparently, because a 120-pound woman can easily fight off a huge male counterpart who's trained to wield a sword. Strength is a physics thing. I mean, there are aspects where, yes, she could overcome this, but it's ridiculous. The writing is ridiculous. It's like a CW episode in a fantasy land. Think of it like that. It was a hard show to watch, and I won't be watching any more of them, even for review purposes, because it's unwatchable. The writing is very bad. The dialogue is really terrible. Mrs. of the Empire watched the first two with me, and she's like, "This dialogue," and I'm like, "I know," and it is. It sounds like CW dialogue. The characters, I mean, you have Willow, who Warwick Davis said he took his inspiration from Mark Hamill's performance in The Last Jedi. Really? Little buddy. Not cool. The female protagonist, she's really the lead of the show, Kit, is an unlikable character. She is dismissive of everyone. She knows what is best. She's arrogant in a way that comes off as just real shitty. She's not a good character. Her counter to her love interest, Jade, is just kind of there. She's okay. Borman is just kind of there. The side characters don't bring a lot to the show. There's a nice scene between Willow and his daughter Mims as he's going off, leaving as he did, so many years before. And that's a touching scene, but that's kind of it. There's not a lot of emotional investment in any of this. When Willow's best friend dies, you don't really care. It's like, oh, okay, he's dead. You don't really feel the elements of danger. You are vaguely aware of the stakes. You have to get Allura Dan into the Magic City so she can fulfill her destiny and keep her away from the evil. Okay. The first big scene between the bad guys and our group wipes them out. They're all dead. This is 3 episodes in. It's like, okay. Now what? Now what? It's not an interesting series. I wish it was. Without Val Kilmer, who obviously cannot be in the series, at least not in the form that we are accustomed to, They didn't recast. They probably could have. But he gets to be the absent dad. And I want to talk about Graydon for a second, the prince who Kit is supposed to marry. He is as incompetent as they come. Everything he does is wrong. He has one skill, and that's interpreting magical languages, which is useful, but he comes off as a buffoon. Just simply a buffoon. And the commander of the King's Guard, is corrupted by evil. They hate the male characters in the show. They hate them. And it comes through in the writing. Very strong. You meet these couple of gals in the woods. There's a big storm around, and there's this one little bright spot in the woods. It's this cabin with two strong women who are chopping wood. And, of course, the male characters, it doesn't go well. They hate the male characters in the show. And, even, it's hard to, the show is uneven. It's uneven as all hell, and the writing is poor. I don't know why they felt they needed to do Willow. Because Disney can't keep its hands off of any of the old properties, I suppose, and destroy them, corrupt them. And Willow wasn't like an amazing thing to begin with. Like I said, it was a fun, flawed movie from 1988. But this is terrible. It's just terrible. Don't watch this. Don't watch this. I'm not even going to watch this for you. I'm just telling you, don't watch it. I've seen the 3 episodes, and it's not worth continuing. I wish it was. I wish it was endurable enough to watch on a week-to-week basis so we could have a weekly talk about it. But it's just simply bad in a way that is, like I said, it's unwatchable bad. So don't save this for something for you and your family to watch over the holidays. Find anything else. Watch the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special 10 times. Watch all the other holiday things, but don't watch Willow. Sorry, Disney, you really stepped in it with this one. I don't know how much they spent on it, but whatever that was, it was too much. There it is. If you want to check out the old Willow, it's a fun movie, like I said. It's not fantastic, so don't expect Star Wars level fantasy. It's okay. But don't watch this. Whatever you do, don't watch this. So, sorry it wasn't a positive review of an old fun show, because it's not that. This has been Roman of the Empire, signing off, depressed mildly. Please like and subscribe, because the channel really needs the subs. It helps us and gets us to make more stuff. Good, bad, weird. That's what we do over here at the Of the Empire Studios. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. Don't watch Willow. Be kind.